wall, and it has to be built quickly.
Good morning. It is 9:05 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. 9:06. I made it in on time. And I'm already like, man, it's going to be a long day. Now I know why you like to come in like 15 minutes late.
No, right on time.
The day flows when you're a little bit late.
When you punch in right at 9, it
feels good.
works.
Mason Fleming's producing. Joan Jones is back in the newsroom. Dan Mandis is halfway to Starbucks.
He's zipped out of here.
I've never seen him run away so fast. Did you hear the stories that I brought to the cross?
I heard a few of them.
The woman who injured her vagina and the baseball player who ruptured his testicle?
Yeah.
I just felt like I needed to bring something to the table for Dan.
Understandable.
Because he covered for me yesterday as I was dealing with the flat tire.
And who doesn't like a zip line?
Not that lady Kirsten.
Ooh.
I think she is officially the president of the anti-zip line club. So we got a lot to get to today. We're really excited. Big show. Plenty of stuff to discuss, and we're going to get through all of it. We'll talk about the latest on Iran. We're going to open up the phone lines at a certain point. I definitely want to get where you guys are at in the current Iran conflict. Gas prices are going up. We're losing more service members. I would love to get a vibe check from the audience as to where you think we are with the conflict in Iran. President Trump yesterday inside the Oval Office with quite a few comments on it. We also have the Iranian regime, the IRGC, discussing a ground invasion. And in fact, they're begging for a ground invasion. So we'll talk about that. Also, we'll talk about some fraud updates, some big stuff coming out of the Treasury. They stopped payments to nearly 100 million payments to dead people. You know, I'll be honest with you. I think the dead people are probably better than the illegal aliens. At least they're not wasting the money. You know? We'll talk about that. We'll also talk about the House oversight hearing on rewriting American history. Now, I don't know if we should be wasting government dollars on this, museums, but as well as the hearings. But it was hilarious on a couple occasions, including Brandon Gill, who's quickly becoming one of the best members of Congress. Who he had what was her name? Her name was Anthea Hartig. She's the director of the National Museum of American History. Brandon Gill looks at her and he says, "Do you think it's good to be polite?" And she's like, "Oh, yes, of course. It's incredibly important to be polite." And he's like, "You understand that politeness is a defining characteristic of white supremacy?" And she's like, "Oh, God, what did I do? What did I do? How did we get here?" I think that's the question a lot of us were asking as we saw those clips circulating around. We'll talk about Iran. Pete Hegseth is asking for another $1.5 trillion. Need a lot of money to keep that military going. So we'll get your thoughts on that. Also, Canada. Canada is on full notice at this point. Tariffs incoming for the wildfires, the mismanagement of the wildfires, the mismanagement of their forests, and how they're ruining the summer. They're ruining everyone's. Canada once again has ruined the summer. So we'll talk about that, and we'll also there's been a story that's been going around. Section 219 of the NDAA, and it is they're calling it. The internet is calling it a well-planned takeover of the United States military by one Benjamin Netanyahu. Maybe you've heard of him. That's the guy that Zoran Mamdani wants to arrest in New York City. And we'll talk about that. And I have the language from Section 219, and we'll get your thoughts on it. So we'll open up the phone lines to that. I don't know if it's necessarily as nefarious as people on the internet are making it out to be. But that doesn't mean I think it's a good thing. So we'll dive into that as well. Plus, I got some stories from the lightning round that are pretty wild. Anna Paulina Luna, she says that the full Epstein files will never be released because of a major cyber attack that took place while Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell were under investigation. Now, before we dive into her comments later on in the lightning round, I would like to point out, you guys, the government, the FBI, federal investigators, they seized DVDs from Epstein's properties because it was all there being recorded internally, all of the records, all of the blackmail. I didn't know, and maybe someone can enlighten me. I didn't know a DVD could be hacked. But we're all learning new things, I guess. So we'll talk about that too. We'll start today with the illegal aliens voting in New Jersey. And I'm not so shocked by this. I'm not stunned by any stretch of the imagination. And I don't think you are either. I think we all know this has been happening in blue states. And of course it has. That's why they're fighting so hard against the Save America Act, because it's one of the ways that they maintain power. They know that these newcomers, if you will, are going to vote blue no matter who. And now we have documented proof of it happening. But they'll tell you it's not widespread. And I'm like, okay, so it was a few hundred people. So you mean that it's not a big deal that a few hundred Americans' votes in the state of New Jersey were canceled out? Because I find that to be a very big deal. And I find that to be exactly the reason why we've been fighting and pushing and kicking and screaming about the Save America Act. So J.D. Vance has commented on this, saying, because they're calling it a software error. That's what the New Jersey governor, the moderate Democrat Mikey Sherrill, is saying. It was just a software error, guys. It was a glitch. Chill out, you right-wing conspiracy theorists. It's barely even happening, and it was a glitch. The tech company very much disputes that, by the way. But J.D. Vance said, if only there was a way to stop this type of software error that allowed, that was my Boston creeping out. Did you hear that?
Just a little peek out.
If only there was a way to stop this type of software error that allowed non-citizens to vote in our elections. I hope Senators Cory Booker and Andy Kim will join us in voting to pass the Save America Act to ensure that only eligible American voters can participate in New Jersey elections and all elections in the United States. Yeah, I would hope so, but I doubt that is going to happen anytime soon with Cory Booker and Andy Kim. Here's how Fox News reported on this.
Governor Mikey Sherrill says the state has removed roughly 6,600 non-citizens from its voter rolls who would have been eligible to vote in the 2024 presidential election. She's blaming what she calls a serious software error in the motor vehicle system.
Hey, Brett Baer did it too, so I'm not that bad at my job. Right? Did you hear that? It wasn't just me. Brett Baer did it too.
Error in the
literally the same thing. It's okay, Brett. It happens to the best of us.
Consistency across the board.
Yeah.
System. The state says fewer than 400 of those people ended up voting. The White House responded by saying the incident underscores the absolute necessity of President Trump's Save America Act, which requires proof of citizenship to register and photo ID.
It does underscore the importance of this because, okay, 400. Oh, only 400. I feel like that's a big deal, right? I feel like this is a massive deal. Assistant Attorney General Harmeet Dillon and the DOJ have launched a full federal investigation into New Jersey after the governor admitted that 6,600 non-citizens registered to vote. Hundreds of them voted because it was accidental. So Harmeet Dillon said earlier today, you represented that approximately 6,600 people who self-identified as non-citizens between June 2023 and June 2024 were nevertheless registered to vote in New Jersey. Indeed, approximately 400 of those individuals voted. Ensuring that U.S. citizens' votes are not illegally diluted by non-citizens' votes is of paramount importance. This is Governor Mikey Sherrill passing the blame. The only thing that I think she didn't do here, which is a Democrat staple, is blame Trump for some reason. But she blamed the previous administration and said when she found out, she was just shocked.
Were asked if they wanted to register to vote. In the case of this error, some individuals indicated that they weren't citizens and weren't eligible to vote, but the software registered them anyway. The error in the software was corrected a year later in June of 2024. That is more than 2 years ago. I learned of this last Wednesday, and I immediately ordered my chief counsel to launch a comprehensive investigation. Currently, the Division of Elections is working to ensure anyone who is illegally registered is removed.
I feel like this is one of those press conferences that you could easily define as CYA, covering your own arse. But the Democrats in New Jersey, if I was a betting man, I would say that they knew about this and they didn't really seem to care. I mean, wasn't it the last governor of New Jersey who said that he had an illegal alien living above his garage and he challenged Tom Homan to come get him? Yeah. So I don't think that that's a good enough issue. Now, again, she said it was a software glitch, but the company says no, not a glitch. Information submitted by IDEMIA must still be validated and adjudicated by the Division of Elections. They saw a non-citizen in the data, yet registered them anyway. No glitch in the software. Interesting. I wonder who's telling the truth. No matter how you slice it, though, this is exactly what we've been talking about and why the need is there for the Save America Act. Now, even Democrats on networks like CNN are acknowledging this isn't a good look. And Jake Tapper was one of the first to say it just yesterday.
But Mikey Sherrill, the governor of New Jersey,
Yes.
Made this announcement today, a surprising announcement. Nearly 400 non-citizens voted in New Jersey elections as a result of what she calls a serious software error. Governor Sherrill posted this quote, as the Trump administration tries to weaponize elections for political gain, I am ensuring we protect our election. She goes on to say the difference is simple. When we find a problem, we don't hide it, deny it, or invent conspiracies. We investigate it, we fix it, and we tell the public. I have to say, though, for Democrats, I'm not saying that the Save America, the Save Act is going to pass.
Yeah.
But this is not good for Democrats' argument that there's no such thing as undocumented immigrants voting.
This is not good for our country generally, I would
Right.
say.
Even better.
This isn't good for Democrats. This isn't good for the argument that we don't need the Save America Act. This is going to hurt them. Jake Tapper went on to say, why would an illegal alien even want to vote? It's so dumb.
If you're in the country illegally and you get a letter saying that you can vote and you know you're not supposed to, not only you're not supposed to vote, you're not supposed to be there, why do you vote? Like,
How do you get registered for a party?
well,
Some of them
but I just wonder, that's some stupid business.
That is some stupid business, Jake. And it's a stupid business that we've been telling you has been going on for years, yet nobody would listen to the right-wing conspiracy theorists. Put another point on the board for a right-wing conspiracy theorist. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I mean, this was Jake Tapper assuring us that it never happened just a few months back.
The Republicans here are talking about a solution to a non-existent problem. Again, Jake, to make it very clear, this country does not have a problem of election security in any measurable level, and certainly not based on people coming from other countries.
Right, it happens, but at very, very minuscule numbers. It's not a serious threat when it comes to election security. Again, it happens, but very seldom.
Vanishingly small. I mean, it's so small that it's just beyond compare. And
So small, guys. Just 6,600 illegal aliens in New Jersey. Now, I just think it's important to point out, if those votes are concentrated and they're in the right counties, they're in the right districts, that can swing elections. It absolutely can, and you are naive to think that it can't. Well, only 400 of them voted. How many would you prefer? Is 400? That's an acceptable amount of American votes to be canceled out by non-citizens? 400? Okay, maybe that's your take. Maybe that's your take. Abby Phillips last night on CNN was trying to say, guys, come on. This isn't widespread. 6,600 non-citizens registered to vote in New Jersey. That doesn't mean it's widespread.
6,600 non-citizens made it onto the voter rolls. That's to me is pretty widespread voter fraud.
That's widespread?
Yeah, I think it would be pretty bad if one person who's not a legal citizen in the United States.
The number of registered voters in the state? Do you know?
New Jersey spends $60 billion over that overall on its budget. So I think if we're seeing...
Yeah, but I mean, you just said it's widespread. So where's the proof that it's widespread?
6,600 non-citizens made it onto the voter rolls.
That is 0.006% of registered voters in the state. Is it widespread, or is it something that is relatively rare?
You're pounding him over the word widespread. I just would ask you,
Scott,
what is your tolerance for any fraud at all?
Is it widespread?
Absolutely. Over 6,000 people.
What is your bar for widespread?
She said, my bar is I want no tolerance. I have zero tolerance.
So what is your tolerance for American citizens?
By the way, this isn't the only place this is happening.
What is your tolerance for American citizens whose valid voter registrations are invalidated by incorrect databases? What's your tolerance for that?
I don't have tolerance for any mistakes in the electoral system, including putting non-citizens on the rolls.
Scott Jennings doing his best to defuse these straw man arguments by one Abby Phillips last night. This isn't widespread, you guys. What are you talking about? This is the argument that we're going to be getting from Democrats in the coming days. This doesn't mean it's widespread. This doesn't mean that we should tackle this problem at all. Just let it happen, guys. It's only 6,600.
Because they're trying to defraud the system. They might have cast a ballot because they just weren't aware that they were incorrectly put on the voter roll.
Oh, that's it. That's it. You know what? It was a simple, happy little accident, like Bob Ross deciding he's going to put a tree there. They didn't know that they weren't supposed to vote. That's the issue. It's our fault. It's not the illegal aliens' fault.
Weren't aware that they weren't a citizen of the United States?
No,
they said in this instance that they weren't citizens. They were still
Is this accurately described as fraud when none of these people tried to register to vote?
Yes, they cast ballots. 400 of them cast ballots. They had to actively go do that. I assume no one voted in their name. Maybe they did. I don't know. But they actively cast a ballot.
Would you describe this as fraud, Scott? Seriously, bro. Yeah. Yes, I would. 922. It's Super Talk. 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at Cover Nash. Shane Ring is going to get you health insurance today. If you think you got to wait till open enrollment to get yourself some health insurance, that's a myth. That is a misconception. It's what the big insurance companies want you to believe. That's wrong. With Cover Nash, you can get covered today. No waiting, no gimmicks. You missed open enrollment, no problem. You lost your job coverage. That's tough, but Shane can help you out. If you're sick of overpriced junk insurance, or you want to know if your insurance is junk and overpriced, talk to Shane Ring today. You're in the right place. Cover Nash partners with over 75 top-rated insurance companies, including brand new nationwide PPO options with deductibles as low as $250, flat $50 doctor visits, and ACA-compliant plans with free preventative care. Not that you're excited about a colonoscopy, but at least you're not paying for it. Whether you're an individual, you got to cover the whole family, you're self-employed, or you got some employees that you need to take care of, Shane Ring can help you today. Stop overpaying, stop waiting, stop thinking you're stuck. You can go to covernash.com, or you can pick up the phone and call Shane right now. 615-465-0023. 615-465-0023. 615-465-0023. Covernash.com.
2 inches of rain in 30 minutes, and it caused quite a bit of flooding last night. We've got that and more coming up at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Yeah, the rain was crazy last night.
Sure was.
Joan Jones in the newsroom. Headlines on the way. We were watching the local news, and they were showing the traffic cameras. There was like a big backup on 65.
Yeah.
The traffic camera was like giving me motion sickness because of the amount of wind that was there.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah, and you needed a boat last night. Joan's going to update us again, less than 2 minutes. We got a lot to get to. Quite a few people weighing in on the text line on the voter fraud in New Jersey. 7679. Chris, I studied computer science in college, also worked for a huge healthcare corp. Software does what we people tell them to do. We write the code. Software simply does what we programmed it to do. Bingo. Another texter, 4631. I believe that this is kind of leaning into what the Democrat Socialists of America want to do. They want to abolish the Electoral College, saying if there's no Electoral College and they go by popular vote, this kind of illegal aliens being registered could absolutely swing an election. Yeah, I mean, especially if it's not widespread, guys. It's just 6,600. Another texter said, well, 6,600. Mario texted in 6,600 times 50. That would be 330,000. I mean, there's a lot of reasons to be upset with New Jersey. And when you see the media, the left-wing media, trying to describe it away as not widespread and debating, like, it depends on what widespread means. It's like, okay, you guys have lost the plot.
Because they're trying to defraud the system. They might have cast a ballot because they just weren't aware that they were incorrectly put on the voter roll.
They weren't aware that they weren't a citizen of the United States?
No,
they said in this instance that they weren't citizens. They were still
Is this accurately described as fraud when none of these people tried to register to vote?
Yes, they cast ballots. 400 of them cast ballots. They had to actively go do that. I assume no one voted in their name. Maybe they did. I don't know. But they actively cast a ballot. Did they not?
What I want to,
an illegal alien gets put on the rolls, however they got there, and cast a ballot.
I mean, but you acknowledge
sounds like voter fraud to me.
Yeah, it sounds like voter fraud to me as well. 6276 texted in. So according to them, 6,000 murderers or 6,000 rapists or 6,000 child molesters, those would be acceptable numbers? Exactly. 9:30, Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. So much rain, so fast in some places last night. Some of us woke up to just receding waters in the flooding waters this morning.
A lot of areas got 2 to 4 inches of rainfall last night, and that happened in some areas. It happened in 30 minutes, and that's why flooding was such a problem and became a problem so quickly.
Channel 4 Stefano DiPietro. Now, Mount Juliet police responded to 15 calls about flooding last night as those storms moved through the Tennessee. And reports in one case, a 26-year-old woman attempted to drive through a flooded intersection at Lebanon Road and Matterhorn Drive. Her Nissan Altima became disabled in the fast-moving water. She was rescued without injury. Another incident on West Division Street. That's where a home became surrounded by deep water. Fire and rescue had to use rafts to rescue people inside. Nashville Metro Council approving some changes to the rules for data centers last night. A moratorium on new data centers now in place through December. Council also set new rules that create buffer zones around schools, hospitals, and zoos. So could that affect that project next to the zoo, where the company DC Blocks just closed on the purchase of the property? Here's Channel 4's Joylyn Bukovac.
The company recently bought the property. However, it had not filed new permits before last night's vote. So this means that the current proposal may not be approved under these new rules that got passed just last night. Right now, we're watching whether the company submits any new plans in the meantime.
Council also approved on second reading Mayor Freddie O'Connell's plan to acquire the land from DC Blocks through eminent domain. That's the latest news. We've got weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
37 minutes past the hour, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? My name is Chris Hand. You can listen on all the apps, the FM dial. You can watch us on YouTube and Rumble. Hit like, hit subscribe, share the show with your friends. The YouTube page, it's becoming one of the best resources in this governor's race here in Tennessee as we continually keep getting interviews with these candidates. One with Marcia. But we got all the interviews. If you want to learn more about the governor's candidates, Matt had another interview yesterday with Monty Fritz, which is up on the YouTube page now. He had one with John Rose the day before, which is up on the YouTube page now. I've interviewed every candidate. Marcia, we were talking about the 287G programs, but we did sneak in some governor's race questions, and we've interviewed Monty Fritz. We've interviewed John Rose. We're going to interview John Rose again here in the coming days, maybe next week. We're gonna lock that down soon. But if you need to learn about any of those candidates, it's an invaluable resource. Just search 99.7 WTN on YouTube. Matt's interviews the past couple days have been awesome. Dan's interviews with the candidates have been awesome. And mine have been better than both of them if we're keeping score at home. So, sorry. Had to do it. Love those guys. We're talking about the voter fraud in New Jersey, and it's just wild. There's so much to unpack here, but the big issue is that the Democrats are going to tell you that this isn't an issue, and I completely disagree. I got a text here from 8834. Chris, would the left have a problem if 6,600 conservatives in each state got a second vote? Exactly. They would have a massive problem with that. They would lose their minds. So we'll see what happens. I do believe that this isn't the only state that this is going on in. I think it's happening in California. I think it's happening in Minnesota. I think it's happening in New York, Illinois, Massachusetts. I mean, I would imagine I would be willing to bet money that it's happening in a lot of these big blue states. Because why wouldn't it be? In California, you don't even need to present an ID to register to vote. In New York, you don't need to present an ID to register to vote. In Minnesota, you can register the same day without an ID as long as somebody vouches for you, and that individual can vouch for up to 8 people. It is a joke, an absolute joke, and it needs to be corrected and remedied. New Jersey is doing their best to explain this away, but there's really no explaining it. None whatsoever. While I was looking at the text screen, I got squirreled. Did you hear what's going on in Sumner County? I mean, this is a pretty wild story. There's quite a few kids that aren't going to be starting school on time in Sumner County. Yeah, listen to this. This is from WKRN. New student registration. The first day of school for students will now be August 10th. It was originally scheduled for August 4th. New student registration was also delayed. It was scheduled for July 22nd and will now be held on August 4th through 5th. What's going on? Well, Sumner County Schools has delayed the start of the district school year due to a network breach. They got hacked. Sumner County School Superintendent Scott Langford sent this statement to parents. We want to share some information about with you about an occurrence that will impact the start of our school year. On July 20th, 2026, Sumner County Schools became aware of unauthorized access into our network. We promptly notified local and federal law enforcement and the Department of Education and engaged third-party forensic specialists to investigate and respond to this matter. Please understand our team is diligently working around the clock to minimize the impact to school and overall operations. However, this will impact our school calendar in the following ways. And then they lay out the new school calendar. So their system got hacked, and the word on the streets is that it's being held for ransom. And I just think that this is another example of why the internet is just a terrible place. It's just awful. Was it a kid or was it a Russian? I don't know. But my immediate thought goes, it might have been just a smart kid who wanted to get an extra week of summer vacation. But probably not. So, Sumner County Schools delayed. That's a crazy story. The kids are ecstatic. Just don't pay the ransom. Don't negotiate with terrorists, the kids keep saying. They're organizing a protest, I heard. All the kids. Don't negotiate. We have to stay strong. We can't let them do this to us and think we're just going to pay the ransom. But we'll be following that, and I'm sure we'll have some updates on that soon. In other news, we had a House oversight hearing on rewriting American history. If the data attack, the data breach, the network breach isn't an advertisement for homeschooling, maybe this will. The hearing was an oversight subcommittee. It was a Doge session titled "Rewriting American History," examining the Smithsonian's efforts to reshape the past. So we had some key witnesses here. Anitha Hartig, she's the director of the National Museum of American History, and historian experts like David Blight from Yale and Matthew Spalding from Hillsdale College. But they were talking about the Republican-led criticism of the Smithsonian's National Museum of American History shifting towards a politically tendentious, woke, or oppressor versus oppressed framing of U.S. history at the expense of celebrating the founding ideals of this country, the founding ideals of liberty, the founding fathers, America's achievements, and so on. So what triggered this was a White House report that came out as a Domestic Policy Council report called Saving America's History. It was released on July 4th. We actually talked about this. It accused the museum of being captured by activism and underemphasizing traditional narratives and promoting divisive content. Republicans called out the leaders of these institutions to their face on the stuff that they're pushing in these museums. And it started with one of my new favorites, Brandon Gill. And Brandon Gill, for about 3 minutes, he goes after Anthea Hartig, again, who is the director of the National Museum of American History. And for about 3 minutes, Brandon Gill just absolutely roasted her.
History, even if it's not properly carried out, would you say that the goal of history is to be objective?
Thank you, sir, for the question. I think that there are many goals of history, and certainly as you collect, as we do, examine evidence, create scholarship.
Is objectivity one of the goals of history?
We strive to be objective and nonpartisan and not based on any ideology.
So it's one of the goals. Doesn't that seem a little bit concerning? It certainly does to me, because as part of this white supremacy document that your organization has promoted, objectivity is a core and defining aspect of white supremacy culture. Do you think that it's the goal of the Smithsonian Institution to promote white supremacy culture?
Sir, do you mind sharing with me which document?
It's white supremacy culture right here. This is part of the mass action toolkit that your organization has promoted for several years now under your leadership.
She walked into a hornet's nest, and she is woefully unprepared. And Brandon Gill brought receipts. Ma'am, while you say that it's important to be objective in history, you do realize that makes you an evil, evil white supremacist bigot. Would you like to respond?
Are you promoting a white supremacy culture at the Smithsonian?
Am I promoting a white?
Ma'am, is this a difficult question?
No, sir. I'm just thinking about the mass action toolkit. We didn't develop it. But back to your question, no, we're not promoting any ideology.
Does it concern you that your goal is objectivity? One of your goals is objectivity, and your mass action toolkit references objectivity as a defining characteristic of white supremacy culture?
It's not our toolkit.
It is your toolkit. You've been promoting it for quite some time.
We did not come up with the toolkit, sir.
But you've been promoting it.
It is used as a reference, I believe, probably in 2019, 2020.
Yes, under your leadership, it has been used as a reference. Is Mickey Mouse racist? It's
a good question. And I don't want to put words in her mouth, but I would say obviously. The way the supremacy in those cartoons is, like, you can own the dog, but the duck is allowed to walk free. It's very problematic. And to sit here and ignore that, I think we all have an issue. And then, you look at Goofy, also a dog, but Pluto is owned. And I I'm not the guy, I'm not the expert on white supremacy, not the expert on racism, but I do find these things problematic, and I think we all do.
Mickey Mouse is not racist.
It's not.
What a bigot. What a bigot.
Not racist. According to the Smithsonian Institution, one of your exhibits referenced Mickey Mouse as representing, quote, vestiges of longstanding traditions of blackface minstrelsy. Would you describe that as racist?
No, the historical trajectory of the origins of Mickey Mouse tied directly
so Mickey Mouse is rooted in racism. Is that your testimony?
No, sir, it's rooted in minstrelsy.
Minstrelsy, and you don't think that blackface minstrelsy is racist?
It had certain unobvious racial overtones that have been well documented.
You think that that's problematic, that Mickey Mouse also has those racial overtones?
Yes.
It's not for me to determine what's problematic. It's determined to me what's accurate.
Is that right?
Brandon Gill, listen, I don't know if you're not watching on YouTube, you're missing something, because the smile that comes across Brandon Gill's face, because he knows this woman is woefully unprepared for this conversation.
Is it important to be polite?
Excuse me, sir?
Is it important to be polite?
Yes, sir.
It's also interesting because the same mass action toolkit that your organization has been promoting references politeness as a defining characteristic of white supremacy culture. Ma'am, are you a white supremacist?
She obviously is, like 100%. And I would say, like, if you ever see me out in public, one of the reasons why I won't hold the door for you, one of the reasons why I will cut in line is because I am actively trying to be an ally to our POC community. And I wouldn't want them to think that I'm a white supremacist. So oftentimes I go out of my way to be rude because I feel like that's the right thing to do after reading this action toolkit. And if you don't think that that's the right thing to do, you might be a bigot. So, there's that. There was also some other exhibits that the Smithsonian, it's not all racism. Tim Burchett had to ask about the bondage exhibits. You remember we talked about this. They were doing, they had exhibits at the Smithsonian about chest binding, which is you've heard of like the old school Chinese foot binding where they make their feet really, really tiny. This is for trans kids. It's to make sure that their boobs don't grow. And there were also, there were displays of bondage and men dressed up as women. This is in the Smithsonian. Tim Burchett, dadgummit, brought it up to Miss Hartig.
Okay, gender and sexuality are highlighted by your museum. The poster behind me shows an exhibit called Entertainment Nation on display now. Do you think these exhibits behind me are appropriate for children?
So I recognize some of the images from Entertainment Nation and from, I think, some other sources.
If you're not watching on YouTube, there's a huge poster board behind Tim Burchett, and it's, it's the usual suspects. It's some of the contestants from RuPaul's Drag Race, Entertainment Weekly with the Dixie Chicks super naked, and then just some bondage gear. Like the stuff, what was the character on South Park? Was it Mr. Slave? Mr. Slave used to wear on South Park.
Yeah.
It's pretty much Mr. Slave's outfit. Also very problematic.
But let me, I think, tell you what I think is most important.
Ma'am,
Yes.
You have pictures of bondage. You have some overtly sexual things up there. You have transgendered folks. I assume that's what they are.
Folks. Tim Burch is not trying to misgender anybody.
And some, I don't care who it is. It's still not a fan. I can tell you that.
Based.
But in another
somebody said, do you know who RuPaul is? Not a fan. Not a fan.
Exhibit, a 6-year-old girl asked why she doesn't have male genitalia. Do you really think that content is appropriate for children? Do you think little girls have penises? Let's get to the basics of this. Do you think that's appropriate?
So, sir, I believe the exhibition and project you're referring to is Girlhood, It's Complicated, which was a temporary exhibit in our museum that closed, I believe, in 2020.
Ma'am, I didn't ask you that. I asked you, do you think, is it appropriate?
So in that exhibit, sir, with permission of the author, we shared a 13-year-old's diary, which I believe is what you're discussing. And in that diary, they wrote about sleepovers and Latin class and math exams.
Ma'am, do you think that's appropriate? I appreciate this. We're limited on time, ma'am. Do you think that's appropriate? Do you think that is appropriate for a child to see? Yes or no?
I understand your question, sir, but
no, you don't. You're not answering. You're just running on, ma'am, and I appreciate your hospitality, but the reality is you are not answering the questions. You are funded by taxpayers, and the taxpayers would like to know, is that appropriate?
So, sir, Girlhood, It's Complicated was not designed for children. It had a label in the beginning of the exhibition that shared with parents about some of the topics that would be covered. And we do that with exhibitions that we think kind of need that help. So parents then can come and
all right. Well, thank you, ma'am. I understand you're not going to answer, and I'm going to run out of time. But
Tim Burch is a beast. I got time for one more clip, and I don't want to leave the Democrats out. Jasmine Crockett was also there for this, and she had a wild realization. If you rooted for Spain over Argentina in the World Cup, you were actually being a white supremacist.
The World Cup. The World Cup that captured the imaginations of the entire world when they saw all of these people of color that was playing for all these teams. And ultimately, if you recall, the last two teams, it was Argentina and Spain. And it seemed like the vast majority of the world was rooting for Argentina, or actually against Argentina, right? And why was that? Just give me an explanation if you could guess. If you'll just let them finish the answer.
Spain had the best team. Maybe that's why they were rooting for them.
There's also a racist history that exists.
Mr. Byer, you're recognized.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Crockett.
There's a racist history. The majority of the world was rooting for Spain. So the majority of the world is racist. Thanks, Jasmine. She's a great addition to this committee. A big fan. She will be missed in the next Congress. People don't think it'd be like it is, but it do. 9:54. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hey, it's Dan Mandis from Super Talk 99.7 WTN and Nashville's Morning News. I'm here with Chris from USS, United Structural Systems. He's checking out my basement, my foundation, my crawl space to see if there's anything wrong. Fingers crossed. All right, so there's good news and there's bad news. The bad news is we found some cracks in my basement wall. The good news, I've got Chris here who's going to walk me through the next steps.
Yes, so unfortunately, your house has been subject to the pressure of the dirt. The hydrostatic pressure, heavy dirt pushes on foundation walls, and you've got a little bit of what we call bowing. So that wall is pushed in a little bit. We have a lifetime warranty solution for that. So We install, usually in a day or two, this can be done in most situations. We install carbon fiber straps, which keep the wall from moving inward at any point in the future. It's a lifetime warranty for anybody that ever owns this house. So it's a quick and routine thing that we do, but it yields some long-lasting benefits.
It's a great selling point if you want to sell your house.
Absolutely. Good thing about our warranties is they're not only transferable, like the contract says, they're automatically transferred when you sell your house. So you don't have to sign any paperwork or even send us an email saying that you sold your house. Warranty would transfer to the next owner.
I have changed my tune on FIFA. I'm excited. June 26th, there's a FIFA World Cup match in Seattle. This was designated as the Pride match. So it's going to be the gayest soccer game you've ever seen. And everybody was really excited about it. And it's in Seattle. So you can only imagine there's going to be like naked bicyclists and like a lot of penises. Way too many.
Yeah, more than none.
The teams that were selected to play in the super gay soccer game, Iran and Egypt.
No.
It's like this has to be a troll. Both of them have like in Iran, if you're gay, that's like jail for life, and I think that's them being like lenient.
More. Yeah.
And Egypt also has draconian anti-gay laws.
Yeah.
I've never been so excited for a soccer game.
Oh.
Good morning, 10 o'clock. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Got your forecast coming up in 5 minutes. The school year begins nearly a week late in Sumner County after a data breach was discovered at the school computer system. Here's Channel 4's Marius Payton.
Parents should have received a message from the superintendent. He says the district discovered unauthorized access to his computer network Monday. The first day of school is now August 10th instead of the 4th, but fall break and Christmas break have not changed.
The TBI, FBI, and the Department of Homeland Security all investigating. U.S. and Iranian forces exchanging attacks for an 11th consecutive day. It comes after President Trump is attending the dignified transfer for U.S. service members killed in Iranian strikes in recent days. Here's ABC's Martha Raddatz.
The wife of 30-year-old Sergeant Michael Swinton of North Carolina telling ABC News he was an amazing husband and father to his 2 young children. The father of 25-year-old First Lieutenant Tyler Feehan tells ABC, "Our hearts are shattered," calling his son and the others who were killed our heroes.
A third soldier believed to have been killed in Jordan last weekend has been identified. She's Army Sergeant Angel Rampersad of Ozone Park, New York. Angel was 28 years old. Cries of hypocrisy after a report from Just the News found 2 Democrat Senate candidates have accepted donations from a mega donor with ties to Jeffrey Epstein. James Tallarico and Senator John Ossoff have both taken donations from LinkedIn co-founder Reid Hoffman, the billionaire who has admitted to spending time on Epstein's Caribbean island. A GOP operative telling Fox News that Ossoff and Tallarico vilify corporate billionaires in one breath and accept their cash in the next. And a couple of Arizona candidates who had the backing of President Trump won their primaries last night. Congressman Andy Biggs overwhelmingly defeating fellow Congressman David Schweikert for the Republican nomination for governor.
Republican Congressman Andy Biggs' win sets up what could be one of the most competitive races for governor this November. He is set to face Democratic Governor Katie Hobbs, who's running for another term. Republicans feel bullish about their chances of picking up this seat in a state that President Trump won in 2024.
That's Madeline Rivera at Fox News. Trump also endorsed former Arizona Cardinals kicker Jay Feely in his campaign to become the next congressman in Arizona's 1st District. During the campaign, Feely touted his friendship with the president, with whom he plays golf occasionally. That is the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
It's 10:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. You're welcome to join the show any way you'd like. The unhinged but lovable YouTube chat is always there. We got a couple trolls. We love the trolls. We're here for the trolls. The director of algorithm tickling back there says the trolls, they help the engagement, so let them troll. Let them be trolls, he says. So I said, all right, I'm cool with it. We actually like free speech around here, so you're allowed to say things that we don't agree with. Even mean things. Those are actually, it's much more fun that way. So jump in YouTube, see the chat. You can call into the show, 615-737-9986. You can text in at the same number. Marie in Nashville has been holding for a minute. She wanted to talk about the governor's race. What's up, Marie? How are you?
Yeah, great. I love your show. I just want to just say comment. Yeah, I agree with you, and I just love Monty Fritz. I feel it. Everybody listening, please get out, vote, and just let's get Monty in to the office, I feel like he can take this state and just move it forward in ways that Marsha is not going to be able to or doesn't want to. And just with Monty open-minded to just the medical marijuana thing, not legalization, but for medical reasons that have been studied for years and years, and there's great truth to it. There's tons of science. He is right on top of it. He's on the cutting edge, and I love Monty. He's true. He's got a beautiful soul. He is exactly what the state needs, and I hope everybody gets out and votes. And I know so many young people that I talk to that absolutely are coming out to vote for him. So let's just go, Monty, and take this state into the future where we need to go. Marsha, I know she's, a good person. I'm sure she is, but that time is done. Let's get Monty in and move the state into the future of a younger generation and be in touch with really what's going on. And that's all I have to say. Go Monty.
Well, I appreciate the call, Marie, and I appreciate you holding as long as you did. I like Monty Fritz a lot. I'll vote for any Republican that makes it through the primary. I'm on record saying that any Republican that we have is going to be a better option than the Democrat. The Democrat that's running, Jerry Green, she's welcome on the show. I would absolutely love to have Jerry Green on the show. I've interviewed every other gubernatorial candidate, and she's the only goober remaining. I would love, can you, Mason, reach out to her for me, will you? Jerry Green, the Democrat that's running in the governor's race. I don't know if she'd do it. I would hope she would, but I would love to have her on. When it comes to Monty, I am a big Monty fan. I think we have to realize that he does have an uphill battle because of the name recognition, and I think he's doing good in the middle part of the state. But I understand I'm in an echo chamber, and I think it's we have to be honest with ourselves there. There are parts of the state that really like John Rose. There are parts of the states that really like Marsha Blackburn. Name recognition is the name of the game, and informing yourself on the candidates and their positions is also the name of the game. We've been trying to do that here at WTN. Dan had an interview with every candidate. Matt's had an interview with every candidate. I've had an interview with every candidate. They're all up on the YouTube page. You can find all of them. You can dig into each candidate, learn what they like. You could even, listen, if you wanted to, you could even take the links, right? You take all three of Dan's links and you paste them into an AI and you go, okay, map out each of their positions in a spreadsheet and let me know where each of them stand on every major position in Tennessee. Out of all the questions that have been asked, you could put every single interview. You could have AI scrape all of that data. You could use it as a force multiplier for you and not even have to watch the interviews. I mean, there's ways to find your information if you're being creative, and I think that you should absolutely do that. I'm not going to knock you if you want to vote for Marsha. I'm not going to knock you if you want to vote for John Rose. I like Monty. I'll support any of them that make it through the primary. I think a lot of us feel that way. I'm not the kind of guy that's like, well, if Monty doesn't win, I'm going to sit out. That's not the move at all. So we'll do what we're going to do here and just try and bring as much information to the table for you to make an informed decision. I don't care how you vote. Also, like I like you to just be well informed and then make your decision from there. Let's go to Bree on the road. What's up, Bree?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. What do you got?
I find it interesting that most of our conservative or Republican representatives don't want to legalize weed, have said that they wouldn't. To me, it kind of shows me that they don't want to do what the people in Tennessee want to do.
So I think that a lot of people point to Big Pharma for that, and they say Big Pharma is the reason why weed is still illegal. And I would actually point to the alcohol lobby. There's a lot of people that don't want to lose money because of weed being legalized. I'm not like a huge fan of legalizing it recreationally. And when I went to Phoenix, Arizona, seeing like a pot shop on every corner, like I'll be honest, I'm not a fan of that. But I also understand the liberty argument and the freedom to do what you want to do. And I'm in favor of it for that. I'm not in favor of it being on every single corner.
I don't know. I've kind of been on the fence about that myself. I definitely see the aspects of it medically and Big Pharma being able to hold it back for that. But I think it kind of goes a little bit more than that, because if alcohol it's way more dangerous than weed is. The worst thing you're going to do is get high, get the munchies, and go to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, people get drunk and they do really stupid things.
Oh yeah, I mean you can look at the domestic violence abuse cases. A lot of them tied to alcohol. You can look at child abuse cases. A lot of them tied to alcohol. You can look at the deaths on our roadways. A lot of it tied to alcohol. You could make an argument that it's not there for marijuana. I don't know if the data is there to really back up those statements. I would have to look for it. I'm sure it's there somewhere. But from a pro liberty and freedom argument, the ability to smoke a joint in your own home, you should have the right to do that.
And, as far as the medical goes, too, so, like, my doctor is certified to prescribe it. Not that she can, but she's certified to. And I'm like, okay, so how can anybody tell you not to if you've gone through everything you need to do to prescribe it on your end? Why would the state be able to tell you no?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff there. I don't necessarily think weed is like a net positive for your community or your country. I think that it especially with young men, there's a part of that makes you complacent and lazy. I know it's like an old trope, but it's absolutely a reality. You're not accomplishing your goals if you're sitting there stoned playing video games. You're not leveling up to the next level of your life if you're sitting there stoned playing video games. So like it's absolutely, you can argue it's a net negative, but there's the freedom issue, and then there's the it's not as bad as alcohol issue. And I think that both of those are valid arguments.
Oh, no, I agree, but that's just all I wanted to say. Thank you.
I appreciate the call, Bree. Let's go to Jeff in Franklin. What's up, Jeff? How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. What are your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts are I was undecided, but I'm going to go with Monty, and I'll tell you why. A lot of people are, I hope they wake up and you can kind of see what's going on. Like Marcia has an opportunity to pass the SAVE Act, and I'm a veteran. I don't care. I don't smoke dope, but I don't have a problem. I do drink, but I don't have a problem with people that do, as long as they're responsible with it and anything. The same with drinking. But
right.
I'm talking about the SAVE Act. These guys get on these little committees and stuff, and they don't pass things they're supposed to do. This is a common sense policy that should be pushed through. And I think her job, she's not doing it in that aspect of it. Neither did Rose. This stuff needs to get pushed through. So I'm going to go a different route. I think the country's moving in a different route, too. They want people that are listening to the state, to the people. And if the majority of the people want to have medical marijuana, then that's it. Let them have it and be accountable for your actions. That's all I have to say about it. But I'm going to vote for Fritz because he's open-minded to what's going on. He doesn't have his own views, so he's not going to veto stuff that the people want.
Yeah, no, I hear you, Jeff, and I definitely hear what you're saying. I appreciate the call. I would say on the Rose front, when it comes to the Save America Act, the House has been there on the Save America Act multiple times, so I don't think that's a fair ding on Rose. On the Blackburn front, I absolutely think that she needs to go harder. And if what they've been telling us is true, that it's a fait accompli, that Marsha Blackburn is going to be the next governor of Tennessee, why on earth are you not going scorched earth on your way out the Senate? Why on earth are you not naming names? Why on earth are you not calling people out? Why aren't you calling for the ousting of Thune? Like, you should be absolutely throwing haymakers on your way out the door. And it doesn't seem like she's willing to do that. And I don't know. I don't really know the reason why. Maybe she's pals with them. Maybe they have a personal relationship. Maybe that's the reason why. And I don't know. Maybe that's a good enough reason. But I would love to see some more fight out of Marsha Blackburn on the Save America Act. I'd love to see some more fight out of Senator Haggerty on the Save America Act. Both of those guys. Blackburn has a bit more runway because she, as everybody keeps telling us, you look at the latest polling, it's decided. Marsha Blackburn's going to be the next governor. Maybe that's true. Maybe it's not. Maybe we will see just an absolute collapse come the primary on August 6th, and Monty Fritz wins it, or John Rose wins it. Maybe. But if it is a fait accompli, why aren't you burning the bridges and burning the boats on your way out of town? I don't understand that. I also don't necessarily think it's a fait accompli that Marsha Blackburn is going to be the governor. And I don't think I think one of the reasons that those polls come out is to try and, black pill people that would be voting for Fritz or would be voting for Rose. I don't think anything's done until it's done. I didn't hear no bell, so get out there and vote. Early voting is going on now through August 1st. The primary is on August 6th. Vote for your preferred candidate. I honestly, I don't have any hard feelings on whatever candidate you prefer. That's up to you. That's up to you. You do your own research and make your own decision. Here at WTN, we're just trying to provide as much information as possible. And again, tons of great interviews from Dan and Matt and Chad and myself. And we've had a bunch of candidates on. They're all on the YouTube page, should you want to go there and check it out. Elsewhere in the news, Donald Trump is on his way to Dover for the dignified transfer of the fallen troops in the Iran conflict. He stopped on his way to Air Force One, and he made these comments.
Nuclear weapon. They won't have a nuclear weapon. So we're going to honor them. And one of the hardest things to do. For me, it's one of the hardest things to do as a president. But has to be done.
As we go to honor these soldiers, do you have an update on the investigation as to how they were killed in Jordan?
No, they're doing that. That'll be released.
There was a report
you know what?
that it was Iran targeting barracks.
I don't know. Well, they're going to pay a big price. They're getting.
Donald Trump saying Iran's going to pay a big price for the fallen soldiers. He said it's going to be one of the hardest things that he has to do. One thing that I do know is he's not going to be checking his watch while it happens. Maybe this should have never happened. Maybe you're anti-conflict, but I think one thing that we can all agree on is Donald Trump does respect the troops, and he's going to give them the respect that they deserve. He was asked also what he would tell the families today of those fallen troops during the dignified transfer at Dover.
We love you. We love your child, and that's what they are to them. They're their children. There's no games, no nothing. That's their child. And all you can do is throw out your heart. Thank you. Thank you.
That's the latest from the president as he heads to Dover today. My friend RD in Colombia wants to weigh in on the Iran conflict. What's up, RD? How are you?
I'm doing very well. How about you, Christopher?
Man, I can't complain.
Well, you know what Lou Holtz says about complaining? It's no good because 90% of the people you complain to don't care. Well, I'll be darned. I don't forget it. Never mind, forget that. Chris, listen, concerning the Iran conflict, I want to make a comment here. We keep hearing that the Iranian people are ready to revolt and step up and change their culture and blah, blah, blah. Well, I hope it's true, but I'm not so sure about that. Chris, I'm 76 years old, and throughout my adult life, I remember seeing on TV the Iranians in the streets by the tens of thousands with clenched fists and hate in their eyes chanting death to America.
Yep.
So,
yeah, I'm with you. And I think if they were going to rise up, I feel like they would have done it by now, RD, and I don't have a lot of faith that the Iranian people are going to, and I appreciate your call. What I do know is that it was, last night was the 11th night in a row that the United States has been bombing the absolute bejesus out of Iran. They have hit targets across nearly a dozen cities and locations so far for the IRGC. Jesse Waters talking about it last night.
Fox News alert, it's on. U.S. Central Command launching crippling strikes against Iran. Command centers, missile and drone launch sites, and air defense systems wiped out along the coastline. This new offensive aimed at pushing back what's left of the enemy's firepower far away from reaching the strait. The commander-in-chief now calling his shots, like the Babe.
How about these people? They're in this because of nuclear weapons, and they're trying to possibly reconstitute a site. We'll hit that site. Any site where they're even thinking about nuclear, we'll be hitting it very, very powerfully.
Pickaxe Mountains in the crosshairs. The Israelis are leaking to the media that the Iranians moved centrifuges under the mountain after Operation Midnight Hammer obliterated their three main sites.
We'll talk more about this on the way. Pete Hegseth asking for a boatload more money for the United States military yesterday. He kept getting interrupted by protesters while he was doing it. The price that he's asking for, $1.5 trillion. How much have we spent on the Iran conflict so far? I got those numbers for you as well. Hang out with us. It's 1022. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. And I love the guys over there. They said, don't worry about the deals on HVAC units. Don't worry about the plumbing deals or the cleaning your air vent deals. There's a lot of deals. We got to talk about something more important. There's a back-to-school drive happening with our friends at Busy Bee today, and they need you to bring school supplies for kids in need to 137 Southside Park Drive in Lebanon, Tennessee. That is the headquarters for Busy Bee, 137 Southside Park Drive, because there's a lot of kids in the Middle Tennessee area that need a little help out with their school supplies this year. Notebooks, pencils, pens, backpacks, scissors, folders, tissues, hand sanitizer, crayons, you name it. They're in need. And you can bring those supplies to our friends at Busy Bee, and they'll distribute them around the community. Now, to grease the wheels on that, if you bring some school supplies to our friends at Busy Bee at 137 Southside Park Drive in Lebanon, Tennessee, they'll give you a $50 coupon off for any service that you may need. So you do something good, you get something good. BusyBeeHVAC.com.
A tense school board meeting featuring some very angry parents last night. We've got that story coming up at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
The Biden administration would classify those parents as domestic terrorists. You know that, right? Joan Jones with the headlines on the way in less than 3 minutes. My name is Chris Hand. The show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. You can listen to us on all the apps, the FM dial. You can watch us on YouTube and Rumble. I did get a text here from Sharon, one of our red-pilled moms. She said, "Is the fix in for Marsha?" I hear that a lot. Is the fix in for Marsha? I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't go that far at all. I just think that Marsha has a lot of money and a lot of name recognition, more so than Rose, more so than Fritz. So, no, I think that's probably part of the reason why people think that it's fait accompli that Marsha's going to win. But listen, she only wins if you stay home. She only wins if Monty gets less votes than her. If Rose gets less votes than her, so you can absolutely make a difference. Trevor texted in. So did Hillary. Talking about more money. Yeah, exactly. I mean, we've seen upsets before. It wouldn't shock anyone. And I would remind everybody, during the last governor's race in Tennessee, there was an unknown name, Bill Lee, who very much surged at the last moment to win his first term in the governor's mansion. So it's not like it's out of the realm of possibility that Fritz or Rose overtakes Marsha Blackburn. If I was a betting man, if we were going to see that kind of a collapse, I would imagine that it would be the grassroots candidate that would take it. But we'll see. I mean, I'm as interested as anybody else. And I'll vote for Monty, and then I'll support whatever Republican gets through the primary. Because there's just a couple issues where I'm way more in tune with Monty than anybody else. Medical marijuana is one of them. The anti-flock cameras is another. I like Monty's take on property taxes. So there's a lot that you can like about these candidates. There's a lot you can like about Marsha. There's a lot you can like about Rose. You can do your own research on our YouTube page. Listen to all the interviews. 99.7 WTN on YouTube. We were talking about the Iran conflict, and we are going to dive into the numbers. Pete Hegseth went before a House Oversight Committee yesterday, and he asked for $1.5 trillion. Trillion with a T, my friends. That's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. And he's probably going to get it.
This request is an urgent, that means $1.5 trillion, given the world that we live in and the disaster of what the Biden administration budgets gave us. Not funding this department at $1.5 trillion, I believe, is the greatest threat that our nation faces. Either we invest in our warriors at this moment of step change on the battlefield and growing threats, or this is all just talk.
Now, that $1.5 trillion, it's absolutely tied. There's some supplemental funding for the Iran conflict tied to that $1.5 trillion. The $1.5 trillion is not going to the Iran war. We do have the numbers on what we've spent so far in the Iran conflict, and I'll tell you about it when we get back. It's 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. A tense and packed school board meeting in Clarksville last night, where parents were demanding the resignation of Director of Schools Jean Luna Vetter. She's the wife of a teacher charged with a lewd act.
We know that Mr. Vetter is still currently married to Miss Vetter. They share the same roof and they share the same computer technology that has all of our children's information and pertinent address and safety concerns. It is a safety concern for the community to allow Miss Vetter to retain her position as the director at CMCSS School Department.
Her husband, Matthew Vetter, charged for showing a student nude pictures of himself on his phone. That student's father is now running for the school board. In Nashville, Metro Council okayed a set of rules for new data centers. Here's Joylyn Bukovac at Channel 4.
They gave the final approval to Nashville's first specific set of zoning rules for data centers. And now these massive facilities, they can no longer be built just anywhere. They'll generally be limited to land that's already zoned for some heavy industry. And they'll have to keep more distance from things like homes, schools, parks, and other public spaces. The rules rules also require nearby property owners and renters to be notified, along with more reporting on noise, water, and energy use as well.
Council also passing a temporary moratorium on new data centers through December. And a janitor at a Hamilton County elementary school charged with producing child sexual abuse material. Zachary Nelson worked at Daisy Elementary School. He's accused of altering photos of school staff members and 2 children to make them appear nude and in several poses. When he was arrested, investigators found nearly 4,000 lewd photos and videos on an online account linked to Nelson. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at United Structural Systems. You know them as USS. And if you've been living with waterproofing issues in your crawl space or your basement, this last month has been a test. It has. And I don't know why you haven't called USS yet. Water getting into your crawl space, water getting into your basement, it might seem like a minor annoyance, and it dries up eventually, but when the rain comes back, so does the problem. But if you keep putting it off, that problem is going to get even worse. That water getting in there is going to lead to wood rot, and it's going to lead to foundation issues. Those foundation issues, man, they're only going to get worse with time. This is why you need to call the experts at USS the moment you see a problem. If you wait, it costs more. Trust me. United Structural Systems is going to send a pro to your house, not a sales guy worried about quota. They'll tell you exactly what's going on. And if you don't need work, they'll say it. If you do, you'll know exactly what they're going to do before they start. They're going to fix your problems the right way the first time, from foundation stabilization to crawl space repair and waterproofing to concrete leveling. Long-term results, not quick patches. They offer financing options so you can fix it today and pay for it later. Give my guys at USS a call. 615-488-7855, 615-488-7855, or find them online, USSTN.com.
This Saturday at 9, tune into the Efficient Heating and Cooling Hour with Jeff Eddy. It's your home. Keep it comfortable through the changing of the seasons. Questions about heating, cooling, air quality, and more with Jeff Eddy. Saturdays at 9 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Sponsored by Efficient HVAC.
The Guaranteed Offer is the simplest, least stressful way to sell your home. You go to our website, you fill out a quick form, we set an appointment, we bring you an all-cash offer. Literally, there's no lockbox on the front of your house, there's no showings, we pay all cash, we close in as little as 21 days, stress-free. We've helped thousands of
From the Beacon Capital Management Weather Center.
hassle-free way with a Guaranteed Offer.
47 minutes past the hour. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. President Trump on his way to Dover for the dignified transfer of the fallen soldiers in the Iran conflict. Our prayers, our thoughts go out to the families of those soldiers. Heartbreaking. Where are you at currently on the Iran conflict? A lot of people have had very strong opinions on this from the jump. Either very anti-conflict war or very pro-conflict war. There hasn't been a lot of gray area, and I do believe this is one of the topics that splits the conservative movement down the middle. And when you peer into those numbers, it seems like it's split along the lines of age, where the older conservatives seem to be a lot more for it, and the younger conservatives seem to be a lot more against it. And Donald Trump campaigned in 15-16 against the Iraq war and Afghanistan war, calling it a mistake. He campaigned a lot in 2024 talking about no new wars. Yet here we are. Do you think this is going to impact the midterms? I mean, this is another big question that we have to have. Oil is back up over $100 a barrel. President Trump posted a graphic last night, and it was like days that oil has been over $100 a barrel, and it said Biden, something like 87. Obama, something like 100 and change. Trump, 24. I mean, it does put things into perspective, but when you're going through it, you're going through it. So where are you at? I'd like to ask you that question. 615-737-9986. Pete Hegseth yesterday asking for another $1.5 trillion.
That means 1.5 trillion. Given the world that we live in and the disaster of what the Biden administration budgets gave us, not funding this department at 1.5 trillion, I believe, is the greatest threat that our nation faces. Either we invest in our warriors at this moment of step change on the battlefield and growing threats, or this is all just talk.
So the specific supplemental funding request tied to the Iran war in that $1.5 trillion is roughly $67.1 billion out of a broader $87.6 billion White House supplemental package sent to Congress in late June of 2026. The defense portion breakdown, mostly Iran related, but not necessarily exclusively Iran, is $21 billion for munitions replenishment, $17.3 billion for operational costs, $12.1 billion for classified programs, plus smaller amounts for drones, cybersecurity, fuel, readiness, other items. As of the July 21st hearing yesterday with Pete Hegseth, the current cost of the Iran war is estimated at around $37.5 billion in costs incurred so far, with the supplemental costs aimed at replenishing stocks and covering the ongoing operations. So we have spent billions upon billions of dollars so far. A lot of money. Now, a lot of the Democrats were getting in Pete's face about this being a failure,
necessary
and a quagmire, and Pete Hegseth was not exactly happy about those characterizations.
Reckless. And I think it's irresponsible. And I think it smears the sacrifice of the troops that are out there making on behalf of the American people to ensure that Iran never gets a nuclear weapon. Shame on you and others who call this a quagmire and a failure, and then you want to turn around and say you support the warfighter. Either you do or you don't.
Is the nuclear material still there,
I can get you a ticket out to CENTCOM and talk to what those Americans are doing and how committed they are to this effort and how they want to ensure that Iran never threatens their families with a nuclear weapon. That's the kind of intensity that our warfighters have about making sure that Iran isn't capable of doing that.
Secretary Hegseth, if you listen to my comments, you would have heard me say how amazing our warfighters are.
I heard failure. And the word heard, I heard exactly what you said.
I will tell you how I use the word failure, because I use the word failure to their leaders. You, sir, are the failure.
Spicy. It's absolutely spicy. Here's the thing. I don't know if you would classify it as a failure or a quagmire yet, but I also don't think that you can classify it as success or a resounding victory yet either. Maybe you disagree. 615-737-9986. Secretary Rubio is on record calling Iran's economy in shambles. He said this over the weekend. This was right before he got on a plane, so there's some airplane noises behind it, but worth listening to regardless.
Iran's economy is in shambles. They're 300% inflation, particularly on life-sustaining goods. They have dwindling revenues to meet even their own payroll. They have food shortages. They have a drought, which we didn't cause, but they have a gasoline shortage and a fuel shortage. All
Economy's in shambles, 300% inflation. They have a food shortage. They have a drought. And then he goes, which we didn't cause. And I'm like, there was classified operations. Maybe not. What? I think that why wouldn't you? If you're going to fight a country, why wouldn't you cause a drought? Why wouldn't you geoengineer some things? You know that they can do it, right? I would. If I was the decision maker, I would. I might geoengineer a flood. Like, I mean, you can do these things. It's not a crazy conspiracy theorist take. That's actually doable. But he went on to say that they're having food shortages. They're having this the worst economy ever. Okay, but back here at home, Americans are getting sick and tired of this conflict because we too are feeling it. Gas is back to over $4 per gallon on average in the country. Like, that's not good. And as we get closer and closer to midterms, that's not going to help us. It's just not. So we need to remedy that. And it came back down for a while. It came down relatively quickly once the strait was back open. But Iran still has the capability to make things a bit tense in the Strait of Hormuz. And we know the Houthis are talking about blockading the Red Sea now, which would be another issue. Donald Trump was asked about the Houthis just yesterday, and he's like, they're not doing it yet. And if they FA, they will FO, to paraphrase.
Of the Red Sea by the Houthi rebels, opening up another front in the war.
See what happens. So far, it hasn't happened, might happen. But we take care of things. If something like that happens, we take care of it. You know, we've done that with the Houthis before, and we haven't heard from them in a while since we did what we did originally. It was about 45 days of very powerful action we took against the Houthis. And we've had no problem with the Houthis. They've had no problem with us for a long period of time, including during this conflict. I think that if there is something like that, we'll just have to take care of business.
Little TCB. That's what we're going to go with. We'll see what happens. It's definitely an interesting development that we're following. Donald Trump was also asked by a reporter that there are no signs Iran wants to stop fighting, and Trump, he took a bit of umbrage with that.
Mr. President, there are no signs that Iran is ready to stop fighting. So what is the plan? Is the plan to just keep bombing until they give up?
There are no signs. Well, do you know something that I don't know?
Well, they continue to attack our allies and kill Americans.
You don't know what the dialogue is behind the scenes, that they want to meet desperately to try and end it because they're getting decimated. You don't get that when you listen to your fake station, but you don't know. You don't know anything.
So talks are
you know
still
something
possible,
that I
likely?
don't know? Do you know something I don't know?
Well, tell us.
I will tell you. They want to desperately meet, and until they're ready to meet in a meaningful way, we have no interest in even.
You have no idea that Iran wants to keep fighting? What do you know something that I don't know? I mean, I love the authority that he has there. And there are stories out from, I mean, I wouldn't, is Axios left-leaning? Would you classify Axios left-leaning? Probably. But they're fair at times. And they published a headline the other day that said, Iran mediators push new ceasefire as Trump eyes all-out war. President Trump is nearing a decisive fork in the Iran war, with U.S. and Israeli officials envisioning only two viable endgames. Operation 1, pursue a new 10-day ceasefire aimed at reopening the strait. Option 2, launch a massive joint military campaign to force Tehran's capitulation. So it's ceasefire or prosperity nukes. Gabe's still training back there, Gabe Victor. I call them prosperity nukes because every single time in American history that we have dropped a nuclear weapon on an adversarial nation, they have become a very clean and prosperous nation that you wouldn't mind visiting. And the data there really does solidify my thought process on this. Every time it's happened, it's worked every time. Axios says Trump hasn't made the decision yet, but officials believe the next few days will determine which path prevails, with little room left for the grinding, open-ended conflict now paralyzing the Gulf. Qatar, Egypt, Pakistan, and other regional mediators have presented the U.S. and Iran with a proposal for a 10-day ceasefire. Two regional sources with direct knowledge of the effort told Axios. The Trump administration is exploring the proposal and has urged Israel to avoid steps that could close the diplomatic window, U.S. officials said. I mean, Israel doesn't want to end the conflict. I think we can all agree on that. Now, whether you think that their intentions are pure or their intentions are selfish, I mean, that's up to you to determine. But Washington is simultaneously preparing for the talks to fail. They say the U.S. military has sent dozens of fighter jets and refueling aircraft to the region in recent days, assembling forces needed for a major escalation. Israeli sources said the IDF is on high alert and preparing for a possible expansion of the war into a full-scale coordinated campaign within days. 11 straight nights of U.S. bombing have failed to break Iran's grip on the Strait of Hormuz, dragging Trump deeper into a war he has repeatedly declared he won, reports Axios. At least 3 U.S. service members have been killed in the renewed fighting. Trump said Monday that he had ordered the Pentagon to make Iran pay many times over for every American death. So this is one of the reasons why Trump is headed to Dover today, the dignified transfer of those fallen soldiers. And again, we pray for him. I mean, it's a tough job, man. That's what they signed up for. Still not something that you want to see happen. Heartbreaking for the families, and we just pray the Lord wraps them up in comfort. The new ceasefire proposal would halt the fighting, reopen the shipping lanes through the strait, and give Washington and Tehran room to salvage their collapsing memorandum of understanding. One of the regional sources said, "We told the U.S. and Iran that we propose a cooling off period." It's like, you ever see the meme with the kids where if we've done it with our kids where they're not getting along, so you get a huge oversized T-shirt and you call it the get along shirt, and you put them both in the shirt. Is that what they're suggesting? A get-along shirt? It sounds like it. In the meantime, the Iran-backed Houthis in Yemen have declared a maritime blockade on Saudi ports, opening another front against the Gulf's energy infrastructure and shipping lanes. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has warned that Israel will answer any Iranian attack with massive strikes, raising the risk of a wider war stretching from the Gulf to the Red Sea and Israel. Behind the scenes, regional sources said mediators are trying to build on a proposal discussed by Oman, Iran, and Qatar in Muscat, Oman on July 11th, when the U.S. demanded Tehran publicly commit to keeping the Strait of Hormuz open. Those talks ended without an agreement, and Iran attacked commercial ships in the strait shortly thereafter, triggering the U.S. bombing campaign that has continued every single night since. And I would imagine that bombing campaign is going to continue this evening. The proposal would fully reopen both Hormuz shipping lanes, the southern route through the Omani waters, free of Iranian attacks, and the northern route through Iranian waters, free of the U.S. blockade. During the 10-day ceasefire, the U.S. and Iran would negotiate a longer-term agreement governing passage through the strait. One option would allow Iran to collect reasonable service fees for maritime security, according to one regional source, which I don't think President Trump would agree to at all. And that source pointed to the Strait of Malacca, where Malaysia, Indonesia, and Singapore charge vessels for specific services rather than a blanket transit fee as a possible model. Another idea would direct the fees into a joint fund administered with the involvement of the International Maritime Organization. There's a lot going on behind the scenes. Iran Foreign Ministry spokesperson Ismail Baghi confirmed Monday that the mediators were working to prevent further escalation, saying the proposals conveyed through the mediators have been received by us, but at this stage, I prefer not to discuss details. He added that Iran's armed forces would continue to respond with strength and crush the source of the U.S. aggression. The president has voiced deep frustration with Tehran since the ceasefire collapsed, calling Iran's leaders sick people and dismissing further negotiations as a waste of time. President Trump was in the Oval Office yesterday discussing a lot of this alongside Pete Hegseth. We'll bring you more of those comments on the way. It's currently 10:51 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friends at Zero Res Nashville. My wife and I, we love these guys. We use these guys. 4 kids, 2 dogs, constantly tracking mud in. I mean, at this point, it's like my wife and I are like, why are we taking our shoes off? There's so much dirt in here. But we might as well keep them on. But before we get to that point, we call our friends at Zero Res. They're the Maha of carpet cleaning. They don't use harsh chemicals. They don't leave behind soap residue. Their carpet cleaning dries faster than any carpet cleaning you've ever had done before, and it stays clean longer. The difference is going to be obvious to you right away. They're going to look better, they're going to feel softer, and you're going to want to do it again as soon as the carpets get messy again. I'm not the only one noticing. My wife's not the only one noticing. They've got thousands of reviews and one of the best ratings in Nashville. They're running 2 and 3 room carpet specials today, so take advantage of it. Call 615-535-9376. That's 615-535-9376, or you can go to ZeroResNashville.com, and they'll work up a custom quote for your home. ZeroResNashville.com.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Matt Murphy with Super Talk 99.7 WTN, and this morning we are out and about at my house, my brand new house that I've been talking about on the radio, with Nate from USS. What's up, brother? How are you?
I'm excellent. How about you?
I'm doing well.
Good.
We invited Nate out. Now, obviously, when you're a new homeowner, especially when you buy a house that's got a few years on it, you don't know what you're dealing with in terms of foundation. And I know that Nate knows a lot more about what I don't see and what I don't know about than I do. So bring the experts out and get them to check out your house. Hey guys, Matt Murphy again with Nate with USS.
At some point, body pain may creep in and become your reality that day. But Aleve is here to keep you moving. One pill gives you up to 12 hours of body pain relief. So don't let pain hold you back. Try Aleve today.
Your house
Use
being
as
on a slope
directed.
like it is here, I think we could do a lot of good by trying to terminate your downspouts a little further from the house there.
Okay.
Roof water is the killer of foundations, and so if we can just get it to a positive grade to drain away from your house, I think that's real cheap insurance.
You want to kind of get it out and downhill.
That's right. Yeah.
That's
So
the idea.
make sure that it doesn't come right back down towards the foundation walls and causing issues, settlement or leakage.
Now, if folks are watching this video and they are like, we need to get Nate out to the house to do a look. I mean, it took, I watched you do it. It's, what, 30, 45 minutes, something like that.
Yeah.
To do a comprehensive kind of an examination around the house. And they just give you a call and schedule?
Yeah, absolutely. You can call our main phone number, or you can call reach USSTN.com and schedule right through the website there. Our girls in the call center will get back to you just about immediately, as long as it's during business hours. So
this just makes a lot of sense, folks, for you guys to do an examination of your house like we've done, to check it out. I'm going to get those gutters done with Nate and his team at USS, and then we'll do a video and let you know how those look at the end of all of this. So thank you, guys.
Hey, that'd be great.
We appreciate you, brother.
Matt, we appreciate you.
Storm cleanup continues across Middle Tennessee. Nashville tightens rules on data centers, and new questions emerge about AI after an OpenAI agent reportedly went rogue. Details coming up at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Ken Weaver in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. It's 57 minutes past the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Headlines less than 3 minutes away. You can listen on all the apps, the FM dial, YouTube, Rumble there as well. Hit like, hit subscribe. I got a text here from 8646, and I replied to it, and I'll tell you what I said. But here's the text. Regarding Iran, Your station keeps criticizing Trump. The fact is that Trump is cleaning up a mess that Obama and Biden helped make. I agree with that. I don't think it would have been wise to ignore the Iran problem and hope it went away. Something had to be done. Whether Trump's actions are 100% right, only time will tell. I mean, first of all, in the last segment, I don't think I overly criticized Donald Trump. I think I was just calling balls and strikes on this thing. And I think a lot of people aren't fans of this conflict. And to ignore that, you're burying your head in the sand. But on the topic of whether or not I'm allowed to criticize Trump, I would say yes, I'm allowed to criticize Trump. Yes, I 100% am. If I feel the need to, I can criticize Trump. And I'll tell you why. I voted for the guy 6 times. I worked at Turning Point USA during the 2024 election. And had we lost that election, we were in the very real possibility of having all of our homes raided by the FBI. Charlie Kirk probably would have been sent to prison. That's not like hyperbole. Like, that probably would have happened. I had a conversation with quite a few people in my life saying, if we get raided by the FBI, just know I didn't do anything wrong. We put ourselves in harm's way to get the man elected, and we put in the work. I put in the work personally. So, yes, I am 100% within my right to criticize Donald Trump should I ever feel necessary. That being said, I don't think I criticized him that much. I don't think I criticized him in that break really at all. I'm just calling balls and strikes on this thing. That's the reality. But if I wanted to, yes, I would. I would. I love Donald Trump. I think he's the greatest president that I've had in my lifetime. Does that mean he's going to do everything 100% correctly? I mean, one of the things that we all love about Donald Trump is he does listen to the grassroots. At least he did. He kept his ear to the ground for the longest time, and he kept his finger on that pulse. So if we don't criticize the bad moves, how does he know how the grassroots feel? Yes, we're well within our rights to criticize Donald Trump if you feel the need to. I'm sorry. I thought this was America. It's like, I'm not going to agree with everybody 100% of the time. I don't even agree with my wife 100% of the time. What? Yes, I can criticize Trump. And people are allowed to have their own opinion. That's what we do here. That's what we do. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I catch strays because of other people's opinions on this show. And we all, on this station, we all have our own opinions. That's a good thing, actually. 11 o'clock. We'll take some of your calls on the other side. We got Eric waiting to weigh in. Tony and Jeff want to talk about the governor's race. We'll do that as well. Plus, I got more comments from Donald Trump inside the Oval Office. Hang out with us. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Eleven o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Drivers, we've got a crash 24 eastbound right there at Harding Place. That's going to be exit 56. Got the full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. Damage assessments continue after last night's storms that left thousands without power, caused scattered wind damage across the region. Heavy rain triggering flash flooding, water rescues, and multiple road closures in Wilson County. At least one tornado warning issued for Dixon County, but no tornado damage has been confirmed. Meanwhile, Ginger Z says North Carolina in the crosshairs today.
Virginia Beach, Norfolk, Roanoke Rapids, right along that state line. We're talking about 2-inch per hour rainfall rates. Totals between today, tomorrow, into Friday could edge up above 8 inches. And so we have that level 3 out of 4 for severe flooding.
Cases of cyclosporiasis, the parasite causing explosive diarrhea, topping 11,500 in 41 states. This according to data from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention today. Here's Lionel Moise.
Health Secretary RFK Jr. said the outbreak, which has hospitalized more than 300 people since May, is under control.
We have done extensive forensics, epidemiological forensics, and we've identified the source of the outbreak.
Kennedy pushed back on growing criticism of the CDC ending its mandatory reporting of cyclosporiasis cases last year in one of its surveillance programs.
So many of these additional cases today have been reported by Michigan and Ohio. Here in Nashville, new rules for data centers. Channel 4's Joylyn Pukovac on last night's Metro Council meeting.
They gave the final approval to Nashville's first specific set of zoning rules for data centers. And now these massive facilities, they can no longer be built just anywhere. They'll generally be limited to land that's already zoned for some heavy industry. And they'll have to keep more distance from things like homes, schools, parks, and other public spaces. The rules also require nearby property owners and renters to be notified, along with more reporting on noise, water, and energy use as well.
OpenAI Chief Executive Sam Altman may have some explaining to do when he heads to Washington next week to discuss next-generation artificial intelligence. ABC's Jim Ryan says an AI agent recently went rogue.
At an AI-related startup called Hugging Face, someone realized last Friday the company had been hit by a cyber attack. It wasn't a foreign actor or a domestic terrorist that had breached its system and stolen login data. It was an OpenAI agent that had discovered vulnerabilities in Hugging Face's security and decided on its own to break in.
And right now in Texas, Governor Greg Abbott ordering state agencies to investigate what he describes as unlawful birth tourism. So-called birth tourism involving women traveling to the U.S. in order to give birth to a child who is then automatically a U.S. citizen. Governor Greg Abbott says 2 Texas hospitals were advertising birth packages in Mexico. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
It's 11:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. I was going through the text line. I'm not going to out this guy, but somebody texted and said, I actually agree with Trump more than I agree with my wife. Many such cases. Don't tell anybody. Then I was scrolling back. We'll be getting a lot of texts today. People will be texting. And somebody texted about my pot take.
People be texting.
Yeah, so I had said that pot has a tendency to make young men lazy and stagnant and complacent and play video games and not achieve the next level of success in their life. I stand by that. It's not everybody, but I get this text. You're such a terrible person. I'm a very successful pothead. So screw you for saying we're all lazy. You seriously need to do a little research before speaking on pot because you sound so stupid. I didn't say everybody. I didn't. So you got to listen. You got to listen. And by the way, when I said that, I was also saying that it should be legal because the government should have a right to tell you not to do it. So it's called a nuanced take. Young men who start smoking pot at like 14, 15, like, yeah, dude, I've seen many friends become very, very lazy and not achieve the success that they could have achieved because they smoke pot all the time. That's a fair take. I know many successful potheads too. But I would say if you were to make an argument, if we had a case study, there are more lazy, complacent potheads not getting to the next level of life than there are uber successful potheads. Maybe that's a hot take. Maybe I'm wrong. Everything in moderation, including moderation. On the Iran conflict, Eric in White House has been holding on for about 15 minutes. What's up, Eric?
Hey, how you doing, Chris? I was going to say, I think you miscrossed me on Iran conflict because I was talking about Sumner County, and it was a simple question. You may have covered it because I had heard you this morning bring it up. The information that was breached, is that information that's going to be, could it be used for anything detrimental? Is it the children's information? I went to Hendersonville, so I'm just kind of curious.
No, I don't. The local news story from WKRN on they pushed, and I appreciate the call. I'll answer as
yeah. We don't watch WKRN or any local news stuff.
I don't blame you. I only Googled it because somebody asked about it. I don't. The only time I'm really watching local news is when there's NATO's. You know what I mean? That's it. But okay, so he asked what kind of information was leaked. It doesn't say. All it says is that they had to delay the start of the district school year because of a network breach. So the first day of school was originally scheduled for August 4th. It's now August 10th. And new student registration was also delayed. That was scheduled for July 22nd. It'll now be held on August 4th through 5th. Student registration nights will also be held August 4th through 5th. So it doesn't say anything. There's no actual information. It has a letter from the superintendent, Scott Langford, who a lot of people in the text line had a lot of mean things to say about him. They said that he's a fan of the woke books. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's just the comments we're getting out of Sumner County folks. But no, it doesn't say anything about what they got access to. So part of me would just lean into probably everything. If they were able to access the network, they probably got everything. So hope that calms your fears. Hope that makes you feel better. Tony in Brentwood's been holding for like 30 minutes. Let's talk about the governor's race. What's up, Tony? How are you?
Hey, I'm fine. Hey, yeah, I heard your conversation about Marcia thinking, or someone thinking that she was going to get in just willy-nilly.
Yeah.
Well, I'm calling to say that I know for sure I'm not voting for her, and a lot of my friends are not voting for her. A lot of them are going to vote for John Rose, and some, were considering Monty Fritz. We heard your conversation on him the other day, and it was very interesting. Yeah.
Well, cool. I like that. You can find all those on YouTube, including interviews with Rose and Blackburn. But on the Blackburn part specifically, what turns you off?
I don't believe she's really done much for us over the years, other than she is. I'm a big Trump fan. I'll just say it, and she does vote, correctly. But that's about the size of it. And I don't know. I've never been a fan. It's not that I don't like her. It's just I'm not going to vote for her for governor. And I liked what you said. If she's really on the way out, she ought to be going out with guns blazing.
That's what I'm saying.
John Thune.
Yep.
Yeah, get John Thune on the ball and get this Save America Act passed.
Seriously, especially, I mean, we just learned 6,600 illegal aliens are on the voter rolls in New Jersey.
Yeah.
They registered them. It was a glitch. It was a glitch in the system. 400 of them voted. Oh, this isn't widespread. It's like, okay, but this is just another reason.
Yeah.
400 American votes being canceled out is 400 too many. Multiply that across all 50 states. I'm sure it's happening in other places. On the Rose versus Fritz debate. What makes you like Rose over Monty Fritz? And I'm curious. I'm not going to put my opinion in at all. I just kind of want your justification.
Well, here's the deal. I just heard about Monty Fritz. I listened to your show it's been a couple weeks ago maybe. And that's the first time I'd heard of him. And I'm almost afraid. I like John Rose, don't get me wrong. He's made developed companies and whatnot. But I'm afraid I'd throw my vote away if I voted for Monty Fritz. Isn't that terrible?
Yeah, that's exactly the kind of attitude that wouldn't get him elected. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know it. So I haven't made up my mind.
Perfect. Well, hey, Tony, I appreciate you calling in. If you need more information, again, Dan did an interview with all three of these candidates. Matt has interviewed these candidates multiple times. I have as well. It's all on the YouTube page. So definitely do your research and let me know what you think.
Okay, thanks a bunch. Have a good day.
Appreciate you. Let's go to Jeff in Nashville. What's up, Jeff? How are you?
Fine. How you doing?
What's up, man?
All right. My question is the governor's race with the three Republican candidates. Who do you think overall is rocking and rolling, just all systems go, you know?
I mean, like, personally, I'm voting for Fritz in the primary. In the general election, I'll support whatever Republican makes it out.
Yeah, but I mean, who at the moment has the most steam, you think, overall?
I mean, as far as like steam right now, I feel like there's a lot of energy behind Fritz. I feel like Marcia is falling, and I feel like Rose is just kind of steady as he goes. That doesn't mean, I mean, there's still a huge lead to overcome with Marsha Blackburn. You know, the early polls showed her up by 40 points. The new polls show her up by 18 points. So there's absolutely data there to back up the fact that people are falling off the Marsha Blackburn train. From there, it gets a little more murky, and my reaction on Fritz is more gut, more energy and gut than any data.
Yeah, I was going to vote, early voting. I just hadn't gotten around to it yet, and I was just kind of wanting your take on. Oh, one other thing. I don't know if you've seen it. There's some guy up there. They're running commercials for a guy out of East Tennessee that runs a factory or something. I don't even know who this guy is. I don't know if you've seen him.
I don't know. It's that's not a lot of information to go off of, if I'm being perfectly honest.
Okay. All right, man. Well, I appreciate your take.
Hey, and I appreciate you. If you need more information on any of the candidates, dude, jump on the YouTube page, click the videos button, and you'll find Matt's interview that he did with Fritz yesterday, his interview with Rose from the day before, and then Dan's 3 interviews with all the candidates, my interviews with the candidates and all that. And, watch them side by side and then make an informed decision. Or if you don't have time to watch them, just copy and paste all the links into AI. And then you say to the AI platform, you say, pull the transcript of each of these interviews, identify the major platform positions of each of these candidates, and then put them in a graph side by side and save yourself some time and decide for you which candidate best aligns with your values. I mean, it's the differentiators between them they're not, I wouldn't say they're massive, but they're there if you look. Let's go to my friend Brian on the road. What's up, Brian?
Hey, Chris, good morning. I'm kind of jumpy. This interstate's not the best. We need a governor that'll fix the roads. Hey, that last dude, I think he's going to be a late voter. You ever heard of an early voter?
Yeah.
He's going to be a late voter. And he's 100% for Monty because he's medical marijuana all the way. Yeah, I wanted to say, have you heard the Marsha Blackburn advertisement by some dude who comes on there and he doesn't leave a number or anything, but he He says, call Marsha and tell her how great a job she's doing. Have you heard that?
Yeah, it's Michael Lofty from Americans for Prosperity that did that ad. I don't know. I don't know Lofty personally. Politically, I don't know. Some of his stuff gives me pause. I don't know who approved that ad. That ad just seems kind of cheesy.
Oh, my gosh, it does. It's self-promoting, which you have to do.
Thanks,
but it's
Marsha.
almost like caller number... I'm sorry?
Thanks, Marsha.
Yeah, whatever. I'm not saying that. I don't think she became a senator till Trump got in office, like most of the ones in there. John Rose, all of them. What'd you do before that, Haggerty? Haggerty told you on your interview, which was, pretty good, I think. I don't need an apology after you tore his ass a new one. I thought you should have stayed with it. But that's just me, bro. I know you don't promote violence. But Haggerty said, now is this right or not? That's a direct quote. What dog show, right?
Yep.
Remember that?
Direct
come
quote.
on.
Direct quote.
Are you? Yeah, he needs to go smoke some dope, or maybe he had been. Hey, so that's Pamela Furr's people, right?
She's associated with them, yes. And I don't know. I like Pamela a lot. And then, to Lofty, while we politically don't always see eye to eye, I hear that he's a great guy, good family guy. So, it's nothing personal.
I get it. Well, I don't know if it's not personal. Guys, these roads are terrible.
Tell me how you
I don't
really
know if
feel.
It's not personal, because if you ask me for my vote, that's personal. And you know what they all do is they want your vote, and they want you to be right there in front of them. And they want your phone number, and they want your money, and they want that. And then when you call them, and I'm not saying ask for a favor, but just ask for constituent services, my God, it's like, you have to jump through so much red tape. I've got a sister right now trying to get something done through the Veterans Affairs, and they're just not helpful at all. And my brother-in-law, who just passed away, her husband, he was a war hero, dadgummit. He carried a bullet to his grave, and they're putting her through all kind of hoops so that she can just continue the disability that he had. She has no other income, and it makes me mad when they do that stuff. Of course, it makes everybody else mad, too. But anyway, I just wanted to weigh in on that. I want you to do one thing for me, though, before I go. I know I've been long-winded, and I'm sorry for all the people waiting. You gotta turn on the more ethical for the medical marijuana, bro. Marijuana is not good. It may help some people, and I'm good with that under medically, covered bases.
Yeah, but my thing is for cancer patients or epileptics or veterans dealing with PTSD, if we're gonna be prescribing opioids, then yes, the door is open for medical marijuana. And then from the freedom issue, yes, there's absolutely a reason to say the government has no right to tell me what I can do in my own home. Until it starts affecting other people, then it shouldn't be an issue.
And that's the thing, Chris. It will. There's nobody who smokes dope, gets over the high, then goes outside. There's nobody that does that.
I would just disagree with you. I know people that do, and I know successful people that do. I just disagree with you, especially on a Christian platform. But anyway, I disagree on some things. I'm not voting for Monty Fritz now. But do you like George Washington?
It's a setup, ain't it? Do I like George Washington? I didn't know the man. You talking about our first president?
That's the one that didn't want to be king. What about Thomas Jefferson? Big fan?
Well, he was an adulterer.
Well,
so no, not really. But no, don't get me wrong.
Brian, you have an anti-Thomas Jefferson take? Here's what I was going to say. It was a setup. Both of them grew pot.
I knew it.
Yeah, it was
100%
a setup.
Because but you don't know that the leftists didn't rewrite that and put that crap in there. I don't believe that they did. I have no proof.
It was the Democrats. It was a Democrat conspiracy theory. George Washington never got stoned and ate a whole jar of molasses. That is a left-wing talking point. All right. Hey, Brian, I appreciate you, man. We'll talk soon. All right. Let's go to Ray in Knoxville. What's up, Ray?
What's going on, Mr. Chris?
What do you got, bro?
I'll tell you what, bro. I am definitely not voting for Marsha Blackburn.
Tell me why.
I would. Well, because first of all, she's done her time in Washington.
From ABC News,
And the thing about it is that she, she's wanting, like I heard the commercial on John Rose saying that, she's wanting to leave with a big bang of being governor of Tennessee. Well, I think that, we need people in there in the state capitol that knows what's going on out here, stays in touch with the people out here, and does something for the people in Nashville, and not worry about, I'm trying to make a name for myself by being governor of Tennessee.
Yeah, I mean, that to me, I don't know if that's true. That feels like a political talking point.
Yeah, I mean, I would, and I don't, I apologize if any women are listening out here, but I think that a man needs to run a government agency like this, being the governor or being even the president. I don't think there should be a woman president because they can't handle the stress that a man can handle.
I mean, listen, it's a take, Ray. I don't even think it used to be like a controversial take. I don't think that's a controversial take anymore. I appreciate the call. You know who agrees with that take, especially on the woman president? My wife. She's one of those right-wing extremists. It's crazy. Get yourself a right-wing extremist for a wife. I got time for one more call. Will in Nashville. What's up, Will?
It's Phil.
Phil, what's up, man? How are you?
Hey, I'm good. Listen, I heard you guys talking about Americans for Prosperity, and I went to an event in Roberts County a short time back. I wanted to most specifically talk with Kerry Roberts, and, of course, Dr. Kumar, my representative, was there as well. But I went there early, hoping to catch him before the event. I wouldn't have to stay for the whole thing, but so there weren't very many people there, but quite a few as, the time for the event came closer. That had to be the most uncomfortable, most unwelcoming group of people I've ever been around in my life. That was the strangest vibe. And I'm a conservative, don't get me wrong, but man, that was a weird group of people.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know who was there, so it's tough for me to speak to it. Like, was it some younger guys working on the staff that hadn't done it before?
It was. Pamela Furr was there, and I was glad to meet her. But
she's a sweetheart, and I like Pamela a lot. My issue with Americans for Prosperity is that it's a Koch brothers network. I mean, they're funded by the Koch brothers, and anything that the Koch brothers get behind, Americans for Prosperity gets behind. It's one of the reasons why they're pushing the data centers as a good idea. It's because the Koch brothers are heavily invested in building data centers throughout the country. And so, I don't know, it just always feels off to me. That doesn't mean that, the rank and file don't love the country. But I always see where the priorities line up and how they point towards a certain set of issues that just so happen to line up with certain Koch brothers investments in the Walton family. So that's my big issue.
Well, I certainly won't be voting for Blackburn, and my reason is her deep ties with the pharmaceutical industry. And of course, I've grown a lot of hemp since the start of the program. I'm pro-cannabis, obviously, but her ties with the pharmaceutical industry for sure. And what I think she'll be as far as favorable to an a massive expansion of data centers, I just don't. She is the definition of DEI hire for governor as a yes person for the supermajority Republicans. That's all I got to say about that.
Well, hey, I appreciate you weighing in with your opinion, Phil. Well, you're welcome to call the show anytime. It's 11:26. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friend Aaron Parker over at Parker Safes and Vaults. Aaron Parker loves America, and he loves keeping your valuables protected, no matter what your valuables are, whether it's some family photo albums or the birth certificates, the social security cards, the stuff that Democrats say you'll never be able to find if you need to register to vote. you can keep them safe in a safe from Parker Safes and Vaults. You can also keep your firearms safe. You can keep your precious metals, your old coins, whatever you need, whatever you wouldn't want to lose in a fire or in a burglary. You can find the right safe for your needs at Parker Safes and Vaults. This is a Christian-run, veteran-owned family business in Shelbyville, and they have been in business since 2009. Make one call to Parker's, and the experts over there are going to help you choose the right safe for your needs and your budget. They'll deliver it, and they'll install it themselves. These guys sell serious products designed for serious protection. Liberty, American Security, Rhino, Holland, Graf Under, all these safes under one roof. And with hundreds of 5-star reviews, you know that these guys are going to point you in the right direction like they've done for so many of their customers. Give them a call today. Find the right safe for you and your family. 931-842-6445. 931-842-6445. Or find them online, parkersafes.com.
Hey, this is Pastor Al, and join us on Super Talk 99.7, Sunday evenings from 7 to 8. We're going to look at the news from a biblical perspective.
.30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast in 5 minutes. Cleanup underway across Middle Tennessee after that line of severe storms last night brought damaging winds, torrential rainfall, flooded roads, widespread power outages. Some people had to be rescued from the floods. The National Weather Service issued a tornado warning for Dixon County, but so far no confirmed tornado touchdowns, and reported damage appears to be from wind and flooding. Here in Nashville, Metro Council passed 2 bills on data centers, one that imposes stricter requirements, another one pausing new ones temporarily. Channel 4 says that's not enough for some who spoke up at last night's meeting.
Both study and regulate this massive technological expansion that is exploiting entire communities. Pass this bill that establishes guardrails on data centers. Go further by mandating environmental impact studies and distance from medium-sized data centers.
Meanwhile, that proposed D.C. Block's purchase of land for a data center next to the zoo may not fall under these new rules since they have not sought any new permits. CDC data showing more than 11,500 potential cases of cyclosporiasis that causes explosive diarrhea, one of the largest outbreaks of this parasite in recent years. It's in 41 states, including Tennessee. The CDC and FDA have linked one multi-state outbreak to iceberg lettuce. Meanwhile,
the good news about cyclosporiasis comes from Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
We do have the outbreak under control.
The bad news for Taco Bell is that at least 4 lawsuits have been filed by people who say they caught the brutal stomach bug after eating at the fast food restaurant. Up the supply chain, says Kennedy.
We and the companies that are involved have implemented a recall.
Jim Ryan, ABC News.
That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
It's 11:36 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. We're going to jump into the lightning round here in a second.
It's the lightning round. with Chris. It's
We don't want to. We're going for a hat trick on the lightning round music today. I had a couple callers that I wanted to get to.
My bad.
Your trigger finger is too itchy, my friends. We'll get there, I promise. I know people are excited.
I just love the lightning round that much.
Sometimes a little delayed gratification goes a long way. Please be patient. Please. I got to get to Gary and Chris. Let's start with Gary and Smyrna. Gary, what's up, man? How are you?
Hey, Chris. Good to talk to you.
Likewise.
I just wanted to find out what your thoughts were about decoupling the Save America Act from the funding bill that it's attached to. If we really want to get it passed, take it off and do it as a line item and get them to vote it.
I don't know. If I'm being honest with you, Gary, I'm so black-pilled on the Save America Act. I don't think it's ever going to happen. I think that the Republicans are just so weak. Like, we should have nuked the filibuster months ago to ram through President Trump's agenda, and I just think they're all soft. I just think everybody's soft. Like, there's always a workaround. There's always a creative idea, and then everybody's like, oh, cool, we'll do it this way, and then it never happens. So, like...
I'd like to run this idea by you. I don't know how much of how purposeful it might be, but what about registering every newborn as they're born in the country? That would solve citizenship. It would solve voter registration. You don't have to pick a party when you register. So I don't see why that's not possible.
Yeah, but then all the Chinese birther tourists are coming over here getting registered too.
Well, that's a different issue, though. That's a different issue altogether.
But don't we already kind of do this when we track them with a social security number?
No, not as far as voter registration goes.
So you want to register them to
vote? When
vote?
they're born, it would be done and over with. Whether they ever voted or whether they ever registered as a political party wouldn't matter. At least they were registered.
I feel like that would cause more headaches because of the amount people move around. I mean, my daughter was born in Michigan. Then she lived in Pittsburgh with me for a while. It's like, so would she be registered to vote in Michigan today?
Well, it would be a national registration. So wherever you're living, when you go to file for your party or whatever, that's when it would take place. I don't know. Maybe not. It was just a thought. The other thing is Marsha Blackburn, man, I won't be voting for her either. I've listened to that one caller you had who said she felt like she was wasting her vote. If you don't vote your conscience and vote for who you believe in, what do you have?
Yep. Amen. And I feel like the primaries, especially in this state, dude, it's so important to get out there and vote. Who do you like in the governor's race, Gary?
I'm going to vote for Fritz.
My man. All right. Hey, Gary, I appreciate the call, as always. Let's go to Chris on the road. He says he's got a hot take. What's up, Chris?
Hey, man, just wanted to throw a couple things out there first. I've never been a Marsha fan, but I have always voted Republican. Rose has done a good job as a House rep, but I can't think of one thing that he's, specifically done. So I'm going to be voting for Fritz. I feel like he's got the most upside, and I feel like he's got a lot of knowledge about Tennessee-specific issues.
Yep.
And that's why I'm voting for Fritz.
I hear that.
Something else that's just been, this is my hot take, something that's been rubbing me the wrong way. Ever since we stopped putting pennies out there, stopped making pennies, I've been going into a lot of places and trying to make an effort to pay cash. I'm a cash person. I don't like using a whole lot of credit cards, so I pay cash everywhere. Somehow we've gotten to the point where every business is wanting to round my change down or put a couple extra pennies in their pocket. If I'm saving you the money of paying a credit card fee or by paying cash, I feel like my change should be rounded up.
Yeah.
It seems like it's happened in the last 2 weeks. Everybody has made this shift to where they're shortchanging everybody. And I've started asking people, hey, are you going to round my change up or are you going to round my change down? And if they say they're going to round my change down, I pull out my card and I pay with a card.
Interesting. I actually think that's a hot take. It's a good hot take. I want it to be law in Tennessee that you have to accept cash. I think that it's garbage that I have legal tender in my pocket, but if I go to the Titans Stadium, they go, sorry, sir, that's not good here. It's like, no, that needs to be good here. They should also make a roundup law. If you're not going to have the change, you got to round up for the customer.
Absolutely. I'd be 100% in favor for that. I was under the impression that everybody did have to take cash federally. Like, I thought that was a federal law because it's written on your banknote that it is good for any debt, public and private, that they had to be able to take cash. And then obviously when COVID happened, a lot of people wanted to go cashless. And as a society, we just accepted it because a lot of people don't carry cash anymore.
Right. Yeah, we got to fight back against that. I mean, it's your step towards a digital banking currency. And I don't like that. I mean, I know Trump is against the digital banking currency or central banking digital currency, but we're one leftist oligarch leader away from getting rid of that completely.
And I guarantee Trump's got a roll of $100 bills in his pocket.
Oh, he always does. I mean, you see him everywhere he goes when he's tipping. He's always breaking out a few $100. Hey, Chris, I appreciate the call, man.
Have a good day.
All right, you too. Yeah, I do. I think that needs to be a law in Tennessee that you have to accept cash at a business. If you're going to run a business, you should be forced to accept cash. There is no reason why you shouldn't be allowed to why you should be allowed to get away with card only. I think that's garbage. Hot garbage. All right. I know you've been itching for it. You can hit the music now.
It's the lightning round with Chris Hand.
We do it every day this time. We run through all the stories that we didn't have a chance to get to, stories that might not fill a whole segment, and stories that we find interesting. Sometimes it's stories that my wife goes, "This isn't show prep, Chris." And I said, "Just listen to my show tomorrow at 11:35 because it's going to be on. It's show prep," and I'll shoehorn that thing in there just to win an argument. You know, like I promise, this video of this Chinese woman falling down an escalator is 100% show prep, Virginia. I swear. I swear it is. It's happened. First story in the lightning round. We didn't have a chance to get to this today, but Cuba is in the crosshairs, and Secretary Marco Rubio, in a new bombshell expose, has identified some leftist groups for being connected to Cuba's communist regime. When are we going to take Cuba soon? Does anybody know? Does that feel like that's coming? I feel like that's coming. And you know Marco Rubio is itching to take Cuba. But listen to this report from the State Department. Fox News has the details.
Code Pink, ICAP, the People's Forum, Democratic Socialists of America, National Lawyers Guild, National Network on Cuba. It's one thing to say that the Cuban regime poses a national security threat to the United States, something you and the Secretary say all the time. It is another to say they're actually interfering or trying to interfere in the U.S. political system.
Well, the National Network on Cuba, for example, issued a rapid response plan calling for agitation and resistance, publishing the location of ICE facilities, of military installations. That gives one powerful example of this network. We also see from Cuban-linked groups, we're seeing fomentation of protests and other violent activity. And then we see other Cuban-linked groups then bail those that are in jail for violent activity, bail them out of prison to release them back onto American streets. This report details a decades-long influence and espionage campaign that continues to this day and really is an untold story. It's a story where we hear bits and pieces here and there, but presents this as the network that it is, linked to the Cuban regime, both ideologically, through logistical support, and as the nexus, the node of a network of far-left extremism that is undermining the security of the United States of America.
Now, a couple of those groups stood out to me. Code Pink, they just went down to Cuba with Hassan Piker, and they got to stay in the only hotel with electricity while they were there because the rest of the island was suffering a blackout. But the Democrat Socialists of America also being linked to this, that's a huge red flag. Again, this comes from a new State Department report arguing that Cuba has cultivated a network of American activist organizations that is going to be mobilized against U.S. policy. And it was publicly posting plans for protests at U.S. military bases, ICE facilities, and federal buildings. The June National Rapid Response Plan was distributed by the National Network on Cuba, a U.S. coalition of more than 60 organizations. The State Department links the coalition to the Cuban government through its relationship with the Cuban Institute of Friendship with Peoples, or ICAP, a government entity sanctioned in June for allegedly serving Cuban intelligence activities. They call for coordinated nationwide actions within 24 hours of a U.S. military attack or the imminent threat of one, and says its goal is to make it politically and materially costly for the U.S. government to wage war on Cuba. The plan has already been made publicly available. The State Department report presents its evidence of what it describes as a broader Cuban effort to cultivate and mobilize sympathetic organizations inside the U.S. One of those sympathetic organizations, again, the Democrat Socialists of America. Not shocked. Not shocked at all. They've also been infiltrating universities. State Department says that Cuba was infiltrating American universities, and they did it as a top priority, fueling campus unrest. None of this shocks me. It's just dirty tricks of dirty commies, and that's what they do. I got another story for you here in the lightning round. Speaking of dirty tricks, we have a friend. I have a friend. We have a friend. It used to be a close friend. Who's like,
you're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
That's how we felt when we read this. We read it on Facebook. And it was like, oh my gosh, America is putting tariffs on our neighbor. Like, that's not okay. And they're doing it because of how the wind blew. What? It was like, oh my gosh, tell me that you are not paying attention without telling me you're not paying attention. The post that we saw from this friend that's going to remain nameless, it was about the Canadian wildfires ruining everyone's summer in Michigan and in Ohio and in New York because of their wildfires that they have going on now. And this is like a repeating problem. It seems like leftists just don't know how to manage forests. And we have many such examples from California to Canada. And Canada, they're not managing their forests, so they're going to be forced to pay tariffs. And many toxically empathetic people are so upset that we would do this to such a good neighbor, to America's hat, the 51st state. Donald Trump had something to say about it yesterday.
Canada tariffs. One, are those a response to the wildfires in
No. That's separate. We're looking at that separately.
And what is there anything Canada
It's only
can do?
response to the way they've treated our farmers and our people. Yeah. Canada's been very, very tough on us over the years, for many years, and no other president's done anything about it. I love Canada. I love the people of Canada. Many friends that live in Canada, but their leadership, from Trudeau to the current leadership, I mean, in all fairness to them, they need us to survive.
Fair. So President Trump says the tariffs have nothing to do with the wildfires. Now, a lot of that talking point comes from Bernie Moreno, the senator out of Ohio. He was the one who's saying, you're ruining our summer in Ohio with all the smog coming in from the wildfires. And we should put tariffs on you. Then many leftists are very upset. Donald Trump went on to say that Canada did fail to manage its forests properly.
And can you say when you might impose 301?
A lot of damage has been done. They're not managing their forests properly, and the wind has a tendency to blow right over New York City, right over. You saw Detroit; they had to close the whole place. Michigan was really affected. They had to close businesses for 4 days. It's very serious what they're doing, and they don't seem to be able to do anything about it. If they managed their forests, they wouldn't have the fires.
If only they would listen. If only they would do, what had been done and worked for many, many years, things would be better. Things would be better. Things could be so much better if we didn't have just complete idiots in charge of so many countries and institutions. Many such cases. Got another story for you here in the lightning round. Also, you knew the Kalshi odds on that were high that he was going to mention Wayne Gretzky, and a lot of people lost money in that. Said many fine people, like they're on the edge of their seat. It's like, ooh, I'm waiting. He doesn't mention the great one. It's like, Also, the way I threaded those stories together was the Cuban link, because everybody knows Justin Trudeau is the illegitimate son of Fidel Castro. Right? Everybody knows that? Have you seen that? Just in case anybody hasn't seen it, hold on.
Is there like a truth bomb button here I can press?
There is no truth bomb button, but we can put some pictures up on the screen of Trudeau and Castro. This one's the money one right here. If you look, it literally these are the same pictures side by side of Justin Trudeau and Fidel Castro, and they look exactly the same. And the word on the streets is that Justin's mom, whoa, and she was right in Cuba around the same time that Justin was conceived. So that's how you have to build your news stories for flow. And I don't feel like I went from Cuba to Canada properly, so I had to backtrack and let everybody know how I made that link in my mind.
No, it was great. It's like exactly when you explain a joke and it just makes it that much more funny. You know?
He's 100% Fidel Castro's son. And he was so upset, so sad when Castro died. He was like weepy, like grown man weepy. Oh, no.
That was the wrong one. I meant to play the sad violin.
It was pretty good, though. It's pretty good. All right, yeah, so Fidel Castro.
There you go. That was better.
That was better. All right, another story in the lightning round. The thread that connects these are bad decisions lead to bad outcomes. Anna Paulina Luna says that the Epstein files are never coming out. And the reason that she gives, I'm like, I don't know. I smell bovine scatology.
I was also literally the only member of Congress leading the charge on declassification of the Jeffrey Epstein files in January of last year. Mm-hmm. And then ultimately what I saw, and this could probably be an entire new segment between you and I on like what actually transpired, but we uncovered destruction of evidence under the former deputy director of the FBI. I had documented that. No one paid attention. I was pressing Attorney General Pam Bondi for the release of the Epstein files, publicly calling for its release. And then at a certain point, it then became political. And then, we have been conducting the investigations and oversight, but the fact is what the American people are not hearing is that we are never going to have the full files because there was actively a cyber attack that occurred when Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein were under investigation in New York. And people seem to forget that happened. So I actually don't think that we have the full deck of cards here specifically pertaining to Jeffrey Epstein.
So a couple things. She said that there was destruction of evidence under the former deputy director of the FBI. Then she jumps to Pam Bondi. So my follow-up question to her would have been, are you talking about Dan Bongino? Because that's important. And the way that she frames it, going from the former deputy director of the FBI, she doesn't say in the past administration, she just then moves right to Pam Bondi, leads me to believe that she's talking about Dan Bongino, which is interesting.
Makes sense.
The other issue that I have with all of this is to tell me that there was a major cyber attack. I don't believe you. And here's why. The entire island, the entire New Mexico ranch, and the entire New York estate, they were wired for sound and video. And all of this sound and video was recorded on DVDs. So the question I would ask is, what cyber attack can hack a DVD? Until you can explain that and what happened to that evidence, this is still going to be a huge red flag for the current administration. Again, I mean, you could be mad about it. Yes, has it been used as a political weapon by the Democrats? Absolutely. Did they ignore it while Biden was in office? Sure did. But we're here now, and I do believe that somebody is sitting on a mountain of this evidence and they're not releasing it to the public. And I also believe that we need to see silver bracelets of high-profile individuals if we ever want to feel like this is actually resolved. It's 11:55. That does it for the lightning round. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friend Dr. Kevin Mitchell over at the Wellness Institute of Nashville, and they have my full seal of approval on everything they got going on over there. These guys are the best when it comes to the latest and greatest tech to get you back to a pain-free life. You've heard us talking about the brand new Medical Bay 1. This was designed exclusively by Dr. Mitchell himself, a futuristic healing machine that has you sitting back in what feels like an Artemis medical spaceship, getting a full body massage while red light, near infrared, and photon wavelengths light up your cells exactly how God designed them to respond. It'll stimulate your stem cells for real tissue regeneration. This is some epic healing that you can only get at the Wellness Institute. On top of that, they also have their non-surgical spinal decompression, which you can get today for $33 off each visit because the Epic Spinal Special is going on now. One thing you won't find them pushing at the Wellness Institute: painful injections, opioids, or surgery. Not their style. They want to get you back to a pain-free life without that. Give them a call or click their website today, painisbad.com, or 615-246-5009. 615-246-5009 or painisbad.com.